Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my Laker channel. Eddie Jeezy back on duty, giving you all the latest Laker news and updates. So, first and foremost, huge shout out going out to the Los Angeles Lakers. Once again, I've been such a loyal Laker fan for about, 27 years? I would say, let's just say 35 years, solid Laker fan. And I remember those times when we had a horrible lineup back in 2011, 2012. And, huge shout out to LeBron James, AD, and the rest of the crew. Finally, we were able to win our 17th NBA championship, and then moving on to next season, hopefully we can maintain and grab our 18th NBA championship. But in order to do that, we need to think wisely. So as we get ready for the NBA draft, there's been a huge rumor that the Lakers are interested on Desmond Bane, who was interviewed by the Lakers, and it felt like there was a mutual interest. And the big question is, could the TCU guard Desmond Bane be the choice for the Lakers for the 28th pick in the 2020 NBA draft? And there are plenty of reasons to think the team may like him. This article is brought to you by being reported by Harrison Fagan, SB Nation. So, the 2020 NBA draft is quickly approaching, and it's still not clear what the Los Angeles Lakers will do with the 28th pick on November 18. Will they try to take a player who they think can help them defend their title, or use the player they select to try and sweeten up a trade for a more immediate help? Well, we likely won't know the answer to those questions for a few more weeks, but one thing that has become increasingly obvious is that if the Lakers do decide to keep their pick, they will likely select a guard with Rajon Rondo and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are both expected to hit the free agency, and as well as Avery Bradley, who's having a player option that would allow him to do the same thing. Now, the Lakers might need some backcourt reinforcement, which may be the reason why basically every mock draft available projects taking a guard, obviously. But because teams haven't really been able to do anything but interview players at this point, we have a lot less news about who the Lakers might like, or even who they're looking at, than we would in a normal year in which the draft is just weeks away. But one player we do know they interviewed is TCU guard Desmond Bane, who told Trevor Lane of the Laker Nation that he not only talked to the team, but he felt like it was a good chat. So it went really well. I got a really good feel from the call, and I feel like there was a mutual interest in the call. Unfortunately, Rob Pelinka and Frank Vogel were in the middle of practice, so I didn't get the chance to meet with them, but Mr. Buzz, likely assistant general manager and director of scouting Jesse Buzz, told me that Rob was interested. His best regards, that he's watched a lot of my tape and films, so that's a good thing. And playing alongside players like LeBron James and AD, who obviously have won championship and are striving to win more, would be a good way to start my career, according to Desmond Bane. Now, to illustrate that this doesn't necessarily mean anything, Bane said that he's talked to 29 of the 30 NBA teams with an interview with the 30th scheduled for next week. That means that the Lakers probably talked to a lot of other players who just haven't let it be known publicly. But with the noted, Bane actually projects to be a great fit and might be a bit of a steal should the fall to the Lakers. And he said he's not paying attention to mock drafts, but a brief perusal of them would tell you that he seems to be a player whose stock is on the rise. ESPN ranked him as the 41st player in the 2020 class, but our own Ricky O'Donnell projected Bane to go with a 20th pick in his initial post-lottery SB Nation mock draft, and he explained why that night. Bane flew under the radar as a senior at TCU, but he was quietly one of the better two-way wings in the country. He is a dynamic shooter off the catch. Bane hit 44% of almost 200 attempts from deep this past year. He's also a more skilled finisher than the other top shooters in his class. Able to absorb contact in the paint and lay the ball in with either hand defensively, Bane should be more advanced early in his career than many of his peers. With a combination of high IQ strength and discipline, Bane's draft hype hasn't matched his production to this point, but some smart team could scoop him up in the first round. Ricky acknowledged to me in a Slack message this morning that Bane probably has the biggest gap in evaluation between what draft Twitter thinks of him and how front offices actually view him. They project Bane going with the 21st pick in the draft, and it's probably because his stock has been rising for a while. Now, this is a bit of a spike for Bane up to a number 21. Sources around the league have begun nodding that they'd be surprised if he got out of the first round right now, simply because almost every team at the bottom of the first round could make a reasonable case for selecting him. Miami really values shooting and is said to be a fan. Denver could use another wing shooter. Utah could use another wing shooter and a two-way player. Milwaukee could certainly use another reliable shot maker next to Giannis. Boston tends to value these big, strong wings with size, shooting ability, and they have two picks actually in this range. The Lakers will continue to work to surround LeBron James and AD with shooters going forward. And of course, no team could use shooting more than Philadelphia, who desperately needs to be surround Ben Simmons and Joe Embiid with more floor spacing. In his 4 years at TCU, Bane made 43.3% of his near 600 three-point attempts. He also improved a lot this year as an option with the ball in his hands. The big concern here is that he's 6'6" with a negative wingspan that hinders him when contesting shooters, both on ball and when closing out. However, he has good strength and knows where to be defensively. He should turn into a solid role player or even a floor spacer at the next level. And I have a late first-round grade on him. He's been a riser throughout the pre-draft process. For a lot of reasons mentioned above, he's gone into interviews and has been impressive with his understanding of how he's going to operate at the next level. His name is Joe Harris and has come up a lot from the front office. Well, as if all the reasons above weren't enough for the Lakers to fall in love with Bane and how he might have helped their team, he also said in his interview with the Laker Nation that he grew up a fan of the purple and gold and was even cheering the team on the finals while he prepared for the draft in Miami. The possibility of trying to help the team chase another title clearly appealed to him. It's exciting, it's encouraging, and he'll be able to learn from guys who've done what all of us been trying to do. First, your dream is to play in the NBA, and once you get there, your dream is to win a championship. So being able to play alongside guys that have done that and are looking forward to that in the following year screams excitement to me, quoted Bane. Now, given Bane's status as one of the winners of the pre-draft process, he may not last all the way until the Lakers pick, so it's probably worth tempering all of our excitement for now. He could fit. But if you want to start diving in what he'll bring, Spencer Perlman of the Stephen did an excellent in-depth scouting report on what Bane brings to the table. Well, apparently he said that Bane brings live action, one-handed, cross-court, perfectly accurate, quick read pass, and it'll be hard to press to find a better example of a quick processing on the fly than this guy here. Will he actually get to join Talen Horton-Tucker in a developmental backcourt that grew up rooting for the team they currently play for? We'll just have to wait a few more weeks to see, but given how much the Lakers seem to value guys who are being a Laker, it certainly can't hurt his case should he fall to them. Go ahead and press that like button and subscribe. Eddie GZ, Laker channel. Until next time, you guys be safe and God bless.